Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. I know I sound like a V8, but it is what it is. Ten minste klink ek boer, like Peter says. Nonetheless, I hope you guys can hear me correctly. If this doesn't sound right, you need to let me know. Don't worry, I'll figure something out. I'll get AI to speak for me. Doot, 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 doot. Almost missed the intro. I was busy with you guys on the sideline. So, yeah. I hope you guys are interested in tonight's subject. Paying twice to survive. Because that's where we are in South Africa. How's it, Scott? How's it, Peter? Jag? I wonder who is at the top. I haven't even checked who is at the top. How's it, Michael? Excuse me. Myra, good to have you. Let's go all the way up. Jag was number 1 today. Good on you, Jag. Jag's got a bit of a surprise for us tonight. And it's about you guys. But you guys are going to have to stick around and find out. Otherwise, you're just not going to find out. Nort, Desi Gora, how are you doing? Ja, nee, dis heeltemal snaaks. It's like, well, I don't know if it's flu, because we got those Russian meds. That stuff knocks you for sick, so you don't get flu. There's no such thing as flu once you've taken that stuff. I think I've just lost my voice. So we'll see how tomorrow night goes, because it's been getting worse. I sounded more like a V8 yesterday. And yeah, I smell like a Vicks bomb anyway. So yeah, I'm just like poof. But anyway, let's jump into tonight. South Africans are not building a parallel state because they want luxury. No, they're building it because survival has become an invoice. Let's talk about that. So, the official state is written in law. The parallel state is written on your bank statement. There are 2 South Africas. What do you think those 2 South Africas are? Black and white? When you look at international news, what are the 2 separate South Africas? It's always black and white. It's always put forward as race, because that's what they want you to see. Let's show you what the real 2 South Africas are this evening. It's not black and white, and it sure is not left and right. 2 states operating in the same country. One is the official state. You pay for it through SARS, VAT, rates, levies, tariffs, licenses, your municipal bills. It exists in the Constitution, in the budget speech, in the policy documents, in the promises and departments. The other state is significantly quieter. It does not have a flag. It does not hold press conferences. It depends on your family, I guess. It arrives as debit orders, armed response, medical aid, gap cover, solar finance, batteries, generators, diesel, JoJo tanks, boreholes, private school fees, tutoring, insurance, neighborhood patrols, even things that do not maybe cost monetary value, but cost your time, energy, and effort that take away from your family. What about private repairs? There's another one. One state is written in law, the other is written in your bank statement. This we know, okay? So tonight we're talking about that second state, the parallel SA state. Not as a fantasy government, not as a political slogan, as a survival layer South Africans have built because enough public services are no longer reliable enough to trust with your everyday life. You are unable to survive in a South Africa where you do not pay twice. And the question is simple. How long can South Africans keep paying twice to survive? Because there's a bit of a sobering fact as we go through all of this. Guys, is the voice okay? Do you guys understand me? How's it, Daisy? Just give me something in the side chat and I'll continue. If it's not so good, then I think we're going to have to do something else. Jag, Myra. Well, you guys must be hearing me fine. I take it the voice is fine. Nonetheless, let's carry on. So, survival has become an invoice. This is not luxury spending. No. This is the monthly cost of state failure. Most South Africans understand tonight's topic before I even explain it, because it's probably sitting somewhere in their monthly budget. You pay tax for policing. Then you pay armed response. You pay tax for your public health. Then you pay for medical aid, for electricity tariffs. Then suddenly you're shelling out for solar, batteries, generators, diesel, for the municipal water. All of a sudden, your family needs to buy tanks, pumps, filters, boreholes, or in some circumstances, bottled water. You pay property rates. Then your community fixes the roads, funds the security cameras, clears the public spaces themselves, and pressures the municipality to do its basic job on their knees, begging, please just come and clean a street. Please just come and clean a back alleyway. This is not luxury. This is drama. This is not people being difficult. This is the invoice for state failure. And you guys are currently paying it every single month. And the deepest problem is not only that households are under pressure. No. It is that the second invoice changes how a country behaves. I'm figuring out how to explain this best, you guys. Families save less. Businesses have less to expand on. Tax morale weakens as municipalities lose their legitimacy. So the productive base becomes exhausted. It's like listening to the same song over and over again. The saturation just increases. Eventually you don't want to listen to the song or a movie. A country does not collapse when buildings fall down. It can also decay when citizens keep paying the official bill while quietly building private substitutes for everything that no longer works within the state. That is the danger tonight, and it is a real danger because you guys are not going to be able to keep it up for much longer. South Africans are not building a parallel state because they want luxury. No, they're building it because survival has become an invoice. So, this is not a luxury problem. We understand this. The wealthy buy distance. The middle class buys time. The poor absorb the collapse directly. The moral center must be clear from the start. This is not a racial argument, and I've stated that before, but they want you to think it's a racial argument. It is not, but it will be used in the upcoming elections. You better bet on it. It's not about blaming poor people. It's also not about attacking ordinary South Africans who are trying to protect their families, keep their workers safe, keep their businesses open. It's also not about pretending private providers are the villains. They are not. A solar installer did not break Eskom. An armed response company did not create violent crime, did not inject ANC cadres into the state police or into SAPS. A private school did not destroy education outcomes, just like a water tank supplier did not collapse municipal water. These businesses are meeting demand created by failure. They cannot be faulted for that. In some circumstances, we can even say that they have stepped up to the plate. If we look at solar in South Africa, right? You guys would still be in load shedding if solar wasn't an option. So in some circumstances, these guys have actually stepped up and helped other South Africans. South African families have come to the table to help. Installed solar so they're less inconvenienced because they need permanent electricity, because they run a business, whatever it is. We don't care. That had a positive effect right across the board. So some of these companies actually helped South Africa. Where do we see this most prominently? Right now, after the 30th of June. Because the CPFs, the private police all stepped in, protected parts of the country that the government was just not able to protect. And who takes all of the shine on the success? The state does. The same with Eskom. If you think that the state's record is all of a sudden gleaming because Eskom is now just magically providing so much more electricity, oh please. Some people don't see it that way, I understand that. The wealthy buy distance, as I said. The middle class buys the time, the poor absorb, collapse directly. That is why the parallel state is not proof of freedom. It's proof of abandonment. It shows that the state has failed the people who need it most. And unfortunately, that line is starting to shrink very fast. So what we do find is that, and we're going to touch more on this tomorrow night, you'll see that 3 of these all link into one another. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. South Africa is not collapsing evenly. Now, this is something, if you guys want to see something, watch tomorrow night. It is absolutely wonderful what we put together. If we want to be credible, we must be precise. South Africa is not collapsing evenly across every sector. No. Some things still work. Some things have been improved from their worst points. Electricity generation, fair enough, has improved compared to their deepest load shedding year, but coupled with solar. SARS still collects. And, I hate putting that into the system. But SARS is collecting because it's the bank account. The Reserve Bank still matters. Courts still matter. Grants are still being paid. Imagine they were not. And, well, the next question is for how long? Some rail recovery has happened in certain places moving into the beginning of 2026. If you watched our live stream on rail, you'll know that private has been injected into rail and there are contracts on the table. So the honest argument is not that everything has collapsed, and this then ties back into why we can't be called Zim 2.0 if you watched last night. The honest argument is that South Africa is experiencing uneven state capacity. Some national systems still function. Some sectors have improved, but many daily systems remain fragile or deteriorating or are entirely failed. Municipalities, water, roads, wastewater is a massive problem for you guys. Billing, policing, public health, education, local maintenance. That is exactly where the parallel state forms. Not because the whole state disappears overnight, no. Because enough daily functions become unreliable that people start self-providing. That is the real South African story. Not total collapse everywhere, something more expensive, more uneven and more dangerous. Public failure converted into private invoices. They've realized, and this has been trained, just for the record, they've realized that certain things can fail within South Africa, and the public pick up the ball. It's like a naughty dog. Puppy comes, bites your shoe, bad puppy, bad puppy. You take a newspaper and you give it a wallop on the bum, and it goes and yelps and yelps and yelps. But eventually you just, you know what, let the puppy chew the shoe, let it chew the shoe. But then you can't go and fight with him and starts chewing the shoe once it's a 50 kg dog. What we're getting at is they've realized they can do certain things. They've realized they can let certain things fail to a certain point, and the public will pick it up. What we don't know yet is if they understand exactly how that system works and whether it can be fine-tuned into certain areas, carrying certain expenses that the government should have carried, and where that money can then be not spent in those areas, if you get what I'm saying. So, what the parallel state actually is. So, what do we actually mean by parallel SA state specifically? Okay. We do not mean a breakaway country. We do not mean secession. We do not mean a fantasy government. We mean the private layer of survival infrastructure South Africans build when the official state cannot reliably deliver essential services to their citizens. There is normal private choice, okay? That is when you buy something because you want it. Spontaneous little purchase, right? Not because the state failed. Let's say a nice car, a holiday, a private gym at home. That's normal life. I would like to get a motorcycle, big, nice, rumbling Harley Davidson for the weekends, and I'm a biker or whatever it is. And I'll go rumbling down the highway on my Harley, go out to wherever on the weekends. That's a choice. That's something people do and they should be able to do that. But a lot of that is not being done. So it's not normal private choice that we're talking about. There are also voluntary premium services. Now that's also something else. That is when the public option works, but you choose something faster or more comfortable than the state provides you, even though the state provides something that's functioning. That exists in many countries, surprise, surprise. Let's say the rail system. But tonight is about something else. Survival spending caused by state failure. You are not buying an inverter because it looks nice, because you like the shiny logo on the inverter. I mean, come on. You're not paying armed response because you wanted another debit order, or having a response dog on your property felt like a good idea just because you like dogs. You're not buying a water tank because it is a garden feature. You're doing it because the public function is unreliable. South Africa is not in full national collapse. Fair. But some towns, some water systems, some local roads, some policing areas and municipalities are moving close to localized failure. I want to rather use the word total failure. The parallel state is not the disappearance of government. No, they still come into your door. They still want their 10 pounds of flesh. Make no mistake about that. I told you earlier, SARS is working perfectly fine. It is more subtle than that. The state still collects. The citizen increasingly provides. The state keeps the invoice. The citizen inherits the responsibility. And that's exactly what you guys have been forced to adopt. Let's jump into the side chat quickly before we carry on. Okay, what do we got here? Well, done it already, Jaguar, so about 3 days. All well, I hope, yeah, no. Myra, don't see him tonight. Who's Myra looking for? Where is Viking? I don't know where Viking is. How's it, Myra? Good to have you on. Jammer. Peter. Did you guys having a lekker chat in the side here? Me, accent Kumbach. English way. Me accent Kumbach. When I have the flu. No. It's about my pay grade right now. I'm not in a healthy state. Soon, we will be paying for the air that we breathe, no doubt. I don't drink, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem, Peter. It would be helpful, a shot of vodka, fair enough. Or Mampoer. Out here we got something called cha-cha. Goeie grond. Daai goed is soos witblits. Maar hy brand van bo tot onder. It burns all the way down. They call it cha-cha. It's a clear liquid they make from whatever, who knows. That there's one specifically, I still drank when I got here. There's one specifically called a candle wax cha-cha. My word, that stuff is absolutely delicious. Not smoking while drinking Mampoer can be flammable. Yes, yeah. No cigarette, no lit flame. Keep sipping that mix there to keep your voice going, buddy. Donkey. Thanks, guys. Too big a slug. I can do with some Mampoer, the pure stuff, with my head tonight. No, listen here, I'm going to take some of that Russian meds once I'm done here. It's going to knock me for 6. I'll be out for like half a day, but it's fine. Yeah, there's actually a 4th layer of cost, not a 3rd layer of cost. When it comes to solar, isn't there a 3rd layer of cost? I understand the government charges you for using solar panels now. Yes. In some of the towns, they're already billing people. Yes. Very sad, very sad. And the unknown, there's actually a 4th layer people never expected. It doesn't form part of the home's insurance. So good luck on that. Where they have to pay additional insurance on the solar system. Yes, hit the like button, guys. Yes, yeah, it is true. There we go. Wealthy, 1%. Middle, 15%. Poor, 84%. Time to wake up when it comes to voting. How's it, Marlena? Good to have you on this evening. The controlling rich elite will keep on pushing for poverty because then there can be subjected to control. Seems they want to tax middle class more with a new rule of SARS declaring income and outgoing at borders. Too many people are leaving South Africa. They realize they're losing a lot of moolah. But when you leave, you know, who says your husband can't have 5 rings on his fingers as well? 1 on each finger. There's nothing stopping him. Yes, so describing it like that, the government deliberately let things break. No, they just put people in place where the money disappeared. So it just went that way either way, whether you could pay for it or not. That you can pay for it is very telling. It says something, doesn't it? So what is the clearest? This is my question to you guys in the side chat. What is the clearest example in your life of paying twice? Security, medical aid, solar, water, schooling, transport, insurance, or private repairs? Type it in the chat. Yes, you can answer all of the above. It's a valid answer. You're in South Africa. How's it, Debs? I have a wild story involving Mampur, Gold Reef City and the train. Oh, goeie genade. Gives me a headache just thinking about it. I love it. It reminds me of Daz. Oh, bloody wild man. No, let's carry on. Okay. So, where were we? Oh, yes. Okay, let's move over. Again, I sound like a V8. I'm very sorry. We'll try and have it fixed by tomorrow. So, now paying twice traps a country, okay? This is where this basically sits. This is not just a list of complaints. It is a feedback loop. First, a public service becomes unavailable, okay? Or unreliable, let's say that. The police do not arrive quickly enough. The tap runs dry, the road is not fixed, the clinic is overcrowded, ambulances don't arrive, emergency services don't pitch up where they're supposed to be, or the public schools start losing trust, right? The municipality sends the bills but not the services. Then households and businesses buy private substitutes, armed response, medical aid, solar, generators, and so forth, so on, as we said earlier. Then disposable income shrinks. The household still pays tax, VAT, rates, tariffs, but now it also pays the second incoming invoice depending on their lifestyle or what they can afford. The security debit order, the medical aid debit orders, your solar finance debit order, insurance premiums, school fees, the water tanks, generators, heck, even in some circumstances, private transport. Then consumption weakens, so families start cutting back. They go out less, they save less, they invest less, they delay maintenance, things start deteriorating. They take on more and more debt themselves, like South Africa's done. And that weakens businesses. Then businesses absorb survival costs. Guards, diesel, backup power, themselves water storage in some instances, insurance, logistics problems, tires being damaged by potholes and the like, trucks being hijacked, downtime, crime losses, municipal billing disputes, and the municipal wax businesses. That money does not go into hiring more employees. It does not go into expansion of the company or wage growth. It goes into not dying, actually keeping the business alive. Then tax morale weakens. People start asking, why am I paying for this twice? Why pay rates when the road is still broken? Why pay electricity tariffs when I finance my own power? Why pay tax for policing when I must pay armed response? And these are all very valid questions. Then municipalities lose revenue and legitimacy, but they're already losing revenue. The people still paying are pushed harder and harder and harder. Tariffs rise, fixed charges rise, more paying people self-provide. The base shrinks again. That is why this is not just a budget problem, it's a legitimacy problem. The budget hole can be financed. A legitimacy hole cannot. So the second tax on daily life, okay? Let us call this what it is. A hidden second tax. Don't beat around the bush. Let's call the spade a spade. It's a second hidden tax. The official state has a budget, but households and businesses have their own survival budgets. Yes, there's a SAPS budget, and then there's a private security industry. There's a health budget, and then there's a medical scheme industry, gap cover, and private hospitals. Your electricity, suddenly there's a booming solar industry with solar panels, batteries, inverters, diesel generators, and so forth, so on. The problem is not that public services exist. The problem is that private survival spending is becoming a required top-up for basic citizenship within South Africa. This hidden tax affects households differently. The working class household still pays VAT, prepaid electricity, transport costs, rent, food prices shaped by fuel and logistics. But it often cannot buy proper substitutes. There isn't enough money. No medical aid, no solar, no armed response, no private schooling. When the state fails, the household absorbs failure directly. The middle class household pays PAYE, VAT, rates, electricity, water, fuel levies, and licenses. Then the second invoice arrives. Medical aid, gap cover, armed response, insurance, school costs, tutoring in some instances, solar finance, backup water, cameras, and vehicle repairs. Because your middle class has vehicles. This is the household that says, I'm doing everything right and I'm still going backwards. I have no more money to save. This is a typical South African middle-class household right now. The small business pays VAT, PAYE, UIF, rates, electricity, water, license, and compliance. It then pays for guards, for cameras, generators or solar, diesel, water storage, insurance, logistics, downtime, and municipal disputes, let alone the CCMA if someone sneezes in the wrong bloody direction. Every rand spent surviving is a rand not spent growing. That number in your budget is the real cost of the parallel state you are currently living in. Where the parallel state is already very visible. Okay? The parallel state is not hidden if you know where to look for it right now. It's already visible sector by sector. In security, every taxpayer funds SAPS, but millions also pay for your armed response, okay, your alarm systems and so forth, so on. With healthcare, taxpayers fund the public healthcare, but it's siphoned by foreign nationals, by illegal foreign nationals, by those in the country that cannot afford healthcare to begin with. It's all gone because not enough is injected into the system. The ANC cadres put into place are unable to maintain the system within South Africa. Universal healthcare is a serious moral goal. But the NHI debate sits inside a trust problem. If people already pay tax, then medical aid, and then are asked to pay more without seeing competence, they experience it as a third payment even, not even a second payment. Let's take that one step further. How much are you guys paying out of your medical aid for consultation at a private doctor? Why? You're not just being screwed over by the state. Your medical aid isn't even covering you that you're pushing out $8,000 a month for. Now you still got to fork out more money when you go and you see a practitioner. How does that make sense? You see how the third bill starts piling up? More people wanting more money for the exact same thing you've already paid twice for. You're now paying 3 times. Number 3, my lord, number 3. You're already paying the third bill on something you should have received on the first. Tell me, you go out, you buy yourself a fancy, shiny, brand new BMW, stunning vehicle, beauty, You drive it off the showroom floor. You paid however much a BMW costs, what, about 800,000, a million, 1, 2. You drive off of the showroom floor, front wheel plops off. Oh, hang on 10 seconds, that's not right. Take the car back. Something's wrong, the wheel fell off. It's right in your car park, it fell off. Example, any dealership. Not saying that BMW, I'm just using it as an example. I love BMWs. Wheel falls off. You go back to whichever dealer. Wheel's fallen off. Take the car back. Dealer says, no, let's quickly sort this out for you. Sorts it out for you. You carry on driving, wheel falls off again. No, come back. Eventually it gets to a point where he's going to ask you to start paying for it. And you're saying, but hang on, I bought a brand new car. I've already paid for this. I shouldn't have to pay for the wheel. You cover the cost of the wheel or just give me a brand new car, is what it would end up being. And that's what's happening with the state. You've paid it already, and somehow you've accepted paying it a second time. I did too. I'm not blaming you. I'm not pointing any fingers, guys. I did too. But then you end up paying a third time. And it's just accepted. It's just absorbed. It's just another one of those things you think in South Africa just is par for the course. It is not okay. It's not okay on any level. So if we jump to electricity, right? Load shedding, fair enough, has improved from worst years. No thanks to government. The private electricity layer has not disappeared. Okay? The pressure has shifted from national generation alone to tariffs, affordability, and fragile municipal distribution. It's on a hair. There is also an electricity death spiral inside municipalities. The best paying households and businesses can afford solar, so they reduce grid purchase. The municipality loses revenue from its strongest customers, but keeps paying the same fixed network non-payment problems. It raises tariffs or fixed charges that make self-provision even more attractive. And then what do? They go and slap on a solar tax that you now have to pay for the solar panels on top of your house. Explain why. How? I've paid for the system myself. I use the electricity myself. Now all of a sudden, as Scott said there, you get in this extra bill coming every single month for nothing. For absolutely nothing, you're paying extra money. Full stop, the end. It's illegal. Not in South Africa. They figured it out. It makes no sense. Just makes no sense to me at all. So, in municipalities, the pattern becomes daily life. Rates are supposed to fund roads, streetlights, stormwater, refuse parks, and maintenance. Yet residents often patch potholes, organize cleanups. We see a lot of these cleanups on the beaches. What has happened to South Africa's beaches? They have absolutely collapsed by the wayside. They fund cameras to keep themselves safe, maintain parks, and fight bullying chaos. That is not rebellion. In some towns, it's been labeled rebellion by the state. That is citizens trying to keep up with life, trying to keep life functional. If we go further towards something like education, families pay again because they fear the public system will not give their children a fair future. And it won't. Have you seen the latest racial tension at public schools? Sweet mercy. I mean, come on. It's not acceptable. And what happens if it goes awry? The EFF pitches up and has a wonderful picketing session outside of the school. Because your child had an opinion? So no, you're not going to put your child into that situation. Some people are forced to. You're going to take him out of that situation. You're going to put him in a place where he's able to grow. Fees. SGB contributions, tutoring, extra lessons, private school, online schooling, devices, transport to better schools, all become part of the second invoice you guys are paying every single month. Education failure is the most permanent form of inequality because a lost school year cannot simply be rebuilt like a road. In transport, failed rail, bad roads become a hidden mobility tax. Taxi fares rise, commutes get longer, vehicles break. I don't know if you guys have hit a pothole at any decent speed. Goods move by road, logistics costs rise. Food prices carry that damage onto your food. Why are my South African groceries becoming so darn expensive? Add up all of these little things we've been discussing over the last few live streams, and we'll finalize on tomorrow night. And you'll understand why. A loaf of bread is 15 Rand instead of 5 Rand, 3 Rand. Because you tell yourself, but hang on 10 seconds, to produce this costs, what, 10 cents? Why am I paying 5 Rand for it? Well, that logistics vehicle, those potholes, the security cameras, the extra people needed to keep it safe in the warehouse so it isn't looted. All of that builds up. So the sectors differ, fair enough. The pattern is the same across all of the sectors. The state charges, the service fails or becomes unreliable, okay? The citizen pays once again. That's the repetition that you guys are living in. So how exactly does this hit jobs? Business, jobs. A household experiences state failure as stress. A business experiences it as a margin. Okay, do you guys understand that? Backup power is capital, not spent on expansion. So the gods are money, not spent on hiring new staff. Why? Because if you looked at what we spoke about last night, no one's investing in the risk of South Africa currently. They'd rather rent the god than employ the god at a significant lower rate. Diesel is money, not spent on wages. Logistics failure damages exports, not on time for the ship, unable to get it to port. Bad roads damage vehicles. Water failure stops production. Crime raises insurance, and billing chaos burns management time. Every hour spent surviving in South Africa as a business is an hour not spent growing. South African businesses are wildly productive. They just don't realize it. They have to deal with so much. This is why these entrepreneurs go overseas. And everyone says, the South Africans are so great. The South Africans are amazing overseas. Geez, do you know what they've had to deal with back home? No wonder their companies immediately take off overseas. Because they've had to consume all of the state's rubbish and then try and still conduct business while a riot's going on outside and being sued at the CCMA at the same time. And the guy still makes a profit. He can still survive in South Africa. That's why they're so successful overseas. Precisely that. So let's quickly reel it back in. Every hour spent surviving is an hour not spent growing on business specifically. Then politicians ask why unemployment is so high. This is one of the little reasons that all couple up together. The formal economy is being forced to self-insure against the state itself. In order to conduct business in the state, you need to self-insure against the state. just to do business within the state is a risk. Let's carry on. A small business does not need ideological speeches. It needs electricity that works, water that runs, roads that can carry their goods, and police that respond when things go awry. Invoices make sense, and a municipality that is not at war with the people actually funding it to begin with. When those basics fail, the owner has only a few choices left. Raise the prices, cut the staff, delay expansion, relocate, or close. Every option hurts the economy, no matter which one it is. No matter which line I've just given you damages the South African economy. That's where it is. There's no benefits beyond it within business, besides maybe the owner and really being successful. But there was something I wanted to come back to. Oh yes. Out of all of those, let me shoot them off to you guys quickly again. Raise prices, cut staff, delay expansion, relocate or close. What do you think is currently happening? Because America's saying, come over, come join us, come join us. Australia's saying, come over. Canada's saying, come over. What do you think the guys are doing? After they watch this buffoon screaming on the EFF, what do you think the guys are doing? They're not just raising prices anymore. They realize they're getting to a breaking point where they cannot compete with China or the imports. You literally cannot do business in the country. Manufacturing, okay? You literally can't do the business in the country anymore. It gets to that point. What does he do? Well, cheerio, 400 staff members. Thanks them all for playing the game. Here's your little severance, but cheerio, I'm out of here. That's what they do. And you can't blame them for it either. So when those basics fail, oh wait, we just covered that. That is why the parallel state is not only a household problem, it's a growth problem. It turns productive capital into defensive capital. It forces people to spend money, staying alive, instead of building wealth. That is slow strangulation. So, at the end of the day, who wins and who loses? Well, some winners are legitimate: private security firms, solar installers, battery suppliers, generator companies, water tank suppliers, borehole drillers. Private doctors are making an absolute killing. Medical aid schemes, private schools, tutors, insurers, logistics companies, municipal consultants are coming up in the ranks like you have no idea. Many of these are not villains. They are meeting the real demand to help South Africa. They are literally replacing the state. And it also gets to a point where the state is going to start getting hard up about it, like with the private security. Well, private security are not allowed guns anymore. Why? Because there's 600,000 of them in the country, where South Africa only has 200,000 SAPS officers. What would happen if private security turned around tomorrow and said, SANDF what? SAPS what? We're done. What happens? Do you see why the ANC is so intimidated? Do you see why the state is so intimidated by these services? It becomes very scary for the state. One thing I can guarantee you, this is something sitting in the back of the ANC's mind, and it haunts them like a ghost in the night. Because no matter which way it swings, they still know, they still realize they're outmanned. No matter which way they swing it. And that's just security. And think of anything else anybody providing a service, the more they replace of the state, the more they take control. Eventually, the state is just a thief at the end of the day because it's not delivering anything. What is it delivering? It's delivering nothing. Everything's been replaced. Do you see where I'm going? Maybe it's a bit drastic. It's a bit very far down the line. We'd never get to that. But you understand the analogy. So, where were we? We're on number 10, yes. But there are darker winners too. Corrupt contractors, emergency tanker interests, tender networks, construction mafias, cable theft syndicates, extortion groups, insiders who profit from failure and then profit again from the repair. And who loses? The poor household losers, pensioners, grant recipients, township consumers, small business, commuters, farm workers, even farmers, public hospital patients, children in weak schools, honest taxpayers, municipalities losing legitimacy, the formal economy. The key point is this. This is what I'm trying to get to, guys. Survival markets grow. Excuse me. Survival markets grow when public systems fail. That does not make every survival provider bad, but it tells you something is deeply wrong when the fastest growing markets are the markets that help the people escape public failure. For the wealthy, the pyramid state is a price tag. For the middle class, it's a stress test. And there's fewer and fewer of you. And you guys aren't going up. You're going down. For the poor, it can become a life sentence inside a system they did not break and cannot escape. So the three futures, these are a lot tighter than last night's ones. Let us map the future in three scenarios, okay? So these are not predictions. They are risk pathways, okay? Scenario 1 is managed strain. This is the country limping along. SARS keeps on collecting as they always do. Grants are paid, electricity remains better. Then the worst load shedding years. Some reform happens, but municipality water systems, road, crime, local services remain deeply uneven. Citizens keep, and guys, remember this first scenario when we plug into tomorrow night, okay? I will say it again. But municipalities, water systems, roads, crime and local services remain deeply uneven. Remember the word uneven because I'm going to refer to it tomorrow night. Citizens keep paying twice. Private security expands. Water backups expand. Medical aid pressure grows. Insurance rises. Small business keeps absorbing costs. The feeling is not panic. It's fatigue. And it just keeps on piling on. You are meant to carry someone else's burden. And it just keeps on the road that it's currently steaming on. Scenario 2 is the two-tier country, okay? In this version, the formal state, this may hit home, the formal state still exists on paper, but real service quality depends on where you live and what you can afford. Again, remember this for tomorrow night, guys. Estates have power backup, water backup, security, and private maintenance. Business nodes become semi-private islands. Better run municipalities pull ahead. Failing municipalities fall further behind. The national flag is the same. The lived reality is completely different. This is dangerous because it breaks shared citizenship. People no longer experience one country. They're experiencing, you got it, They're experiencing what? Enclaves. Systems that currently work inside South Africa. It's already proven. Why have they formed? Why did enclaves become so popular? Why is Article 235 so contentious? Why does ANC not want this? If you think that people not getting service delivery was cheesed off with Irania, just wait until there's 50 of them. And imagine how you're going to keep them safe. Let's carry on. Scenario 3 is fiscal and municipal rupture. This is not guaranteed, and it's not inevitable, okay? But it becomes possible if municipal finances, payment rates, infrastructure backlogs, and compliance weakens altogether at the same time, okay? More municipalities cannot pay creditors. Eskom and water boards arrears keep on worsening, okay? They never ever get paid. Maintenance totally collapses. Businesses relocate and abandon. Tax morale weakens. The state rises tariffs or taxes on the remaining base that's left. They suck on the bleeding teat, anything that's left. Well, what breaks first? Probably not the national state all at once. More likely a municipality or wastewater system, a water board, arrears crisis, a local electricity network, a town where billing is no longer translates into any form of service whatsoever. That is how states fail in daily life. Not always with one national explosion, sometimes with thousands of local failures that people simply stop expecting to be fixed. A parallel state can start as resilience, then become normal, then become permanent, then become a trap. Does that sound familiar? Because it should. So, let's close this one off for tonight. So my froggy frog voice doesn't need to be croaking at you guys the whole night. Rop, rop, rop. I'm so sorry. My voice is just not there. This honey rooibos thing is really nice. I'm quitting my Coca-Cola for honey rooibos and lemon. Nonetheless, let's carry on. Okay. So the only way back, okay, if South Africa wants to pull back from this, the answer is not another slogan. It's useless, okay? It's fix policing and prosecution. Crime must carry consequence. Rebuild detective capacity. Fix forensic delays. Strengthen prosecution. Focus on murder, robbery, extortion, kidnapping, which we will get into one day, 1 month, because it is massive. Infrastructure crime, cable theft, and construction mafias. Nothing shrinks the private security state faster than police who arrive and courts who convict. What did I tell you guys previously? I gave you the running example of Georgia. They got a small set of young, vibrant boys in their country, trained them up to the nines, got them top level. They fired every single police officer in their country, arrested almost all of them that was corrupt, figured out who was corrupt, who was taking bribes, and fired the entire police force from ground up. Thank you, get out, goodbye. New blood. 1,700, okay, South Africa is going to need more. South Africa will need, I think about 5'8" to just get off the ground, maybe. If South Africa citizens supported it, the CPF, the private security, would come into play to help out. But they fired every single police officer in the state, put these new boys into power, and they couldn't be bribed. They got phenomenal salaries, great packages for their families, and policing thrived. Absolutely thrived. It can be done. It will never be done. Not in South Africa. Too much mullah on the line. So, professionalized municipalities. Technical jobs must be filled by competent people. We spoke about this in our last interview. Engineers, CFOs, municipal managers, water specialists, electricity distribution experts, and procurement professionals. Get systems in that work. I'll pull it up now for you quickly. Give me 10 seconds. Eden Movement. Nats, I don't know if you still have the link. You can post it. Local government cannot be a job program for politics. Get systems in place like Eden Movement. We've interviewed them. Go and watch the interview. Get those systems in place. Get the right guys, the technical jobs, get the correct people into these municipalities. Not ANC cadre, big buddy boy that can't even bloody read or write. We did a live stream on that as well. We covered that in a live stream as well. Ring fence maintenance, water revenue must maintain water systems. Full stop. Electricity revenue must maintain distribution networks. Road budgets must fix roads. Wastewater budgets must protect public health. Deferred maintenance is collapse in slow motion. Enforce consequences. Audit findings without consequences are theatre. They don't help anyone. Recover stolen money. What do we have? Zuma, living at large with Atul Gupta there in India. Hey, lacquer life. That was now, while the country is in civil unrest with all of these protests and riots and march and foreigners get out. Where's Zuma? In a bloody temple in India. Watch the live stream on that. We've covered so much of this stuff. Blacklist corrupt suppliers. Prosecute their fraud. Protect whistleblowers. Publish consequences. Show the consequences. Stop protecting the criminals. I would say bring back the death sentence because I agree with it. I believe South Africa needs to have it in place, especially with the children that are being abused in that country. The human trafficking, the rape. But criminals are dealt with mitt and gloves. Don't worry, you're okay. Everything's fine. That's a belief, man. Publish the consequences. Put their names up on billboards. Let their families' names go up onto those billboards. I'll tell you very quickly, people will stop doing what they're doing. Publish municipal dashboards. Every citizen should know the collection rate, Eskom arrears, water board arrears, water losses, electricity losses, wastewater compliance, technical vacancies, and service response times. Visibility creates pressure on the state. It becomes where South Africa is now, that becomes a state secret. South Africa does not want you to see wastewater compliance. It's one of their worst nightmares. It's currently state secret. It should be published. Allow private participation without public abdication. Private competence can help, but it must be transparent, accountable, and performance-based. not connected contracts, not inflated tenders, not emergency procurement that becomes permanent looting. Protect the tax base. Stop treating compliant taxpayers as infinite. Retain skills, retain capital, make investment rational, support small business, reduce waste, restore value for money. The state must restore the bargain, pay, and something works. That is the trust problem. A modern state cannot run only on enforcement. And South Africa believes this is the course forward. It runs on voluntary compliance. Most people pay because they believe the system is legitimate enough. Not perfect, not always fair, but legitimate enough. When that belief dies, you can increase audits, penalties, and tariffs, but you cannot force people to believe. You can borrow money, you can restructure budgets, you can, you cannot borrow legitimacy. So let us close where we began this evening. South Africans are not building a parallel state because they want luxury. They are building it because survival has become an invoice. No one even knows it's a parallel state yet until we start calling it exactly what it is. And you heard that here on Love Enough. That is the central, you pay tax, then you pay again. You pay rates, then you pay again. You're paying tariffs, then you pay again. And the people who cannot pay again are left with the failure. That is central injustice. The parallel SA state is not a solution. It is a symptom. It is the receipt for a broken social contract. A country does not collapse only when buildings fall down. No. It collapses when citizens stop believing the state is worth paying for. Fix the state or watch the country quietly split into those who can buy survival and those who cannot. That choice is still open for now. Watch tomorrow night. Trust me. Watch tomorrow night. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't too much of a frog voice. My old V8 running in the background here. Yowza. How's it, Debs? Where I am now, the government pays my electricity and water. Oh, no, I have to pay for my electricity and water. But we don't pay much. Yeah, yes, that heat in Europe is absolutely vicious, man. Our solar is covered under the home insurance, but at an extra cost, exactly. Pay more, pay more, pay more, pay more. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Yes, definitely. When she does not want to blow that side. Eesh, mama. Terms and conditions apply. Paying for kids to participate in sports on top of school fees. There we go. Well said, Magda. Bike. Exactly. I remember when clubs were free. Not anymore. Not by a long shot. My old private school, Michael House, in Balgowan. 300,000 per year. Are you blooming kidding me? Oh, no, thank you. No ways. Eskom was once the world's largest single provider of electricity on this planet, but it's such a monster of its own path that it's now entangled by government official corruption. Oh yeah, cadres are in there. There's so much crime, corruption, and that mafia that just covers that whole thing. So we pay a sugar tax, well said. Yeah, your gap cover covers your other gap cover that fell short, that covers the other gap cover that fell short. Keep on paying, South Africa. Excuse me. Exactly. Try and justify that 800. All of his staff, all of the logistics, the vehicle driving out that was hijacked last week, the. Not all of these guys are just corrupt. Some of them, the cost is really high. It's the cost of doing business in South Africa. Scott says healthcare should be a human right paid for by government. It should be. Here in Australia, public health is great if you're in danger of dying. Crappy if you have non-life-threatening ailment. Oh, ours is great right across the board, out here in Eastern Europe. Go. I told you guys we have a doctor at the school. School's open, doctors there. If we really needed a prescription, you get a prescription. If you really need, she's right there. It's not a case of appointment. It's a case of walk down the road or drive down the road or whatever you want to do. Are you kidding me? 417,000 per annum plus extras. I can't justify it. Just try to justify that, really, in all honesty. I can't see a child being that expensive for schooling. The EFMF met their match in Brackenfell when they tried their nonsense at the school. Oh, no, I'm sure they did. Oh, Brackenfell isn't just, yeah. Michael, the Afrikaner parents gave them a hiding, exactly. How's it, Tukalosh? Are you back? Everyone was asking where you were. The commuter time is killer. 2 hours traveling every day is 44 hours a month, over 11 months. This is what we were talking about. Get the heck out of the cities. Get out of the cities, get out of the cities, get out of the cities. Oh, hang on, correction. It depends what city you're in. If this billions and billions and billions on top of one another is in Joburg City, what are you still doing in Joburg? Yes, my home's there. Yes, my neighbors are there. Yeah, I understand it. If the state doesn't recover this, I mean, cheapers, creepers, join an enclave, work remotely if you can. That's the answer for now. Yes, if you want to live safely, you need to live far away from work. It depends on what type of work you do. There we go. Tokolosh knows exactly what I'm talking about. The amazing games here on Durban Beach with bumper cars. Oh, the bumper cars were so awesome. That we used to jump on that sky car, what do you call it? Paid with token coins. All the way past the 1970s. We also Minitown. Do you remember Minitown in Durban? All the little mini. I loved it. I loved it. I remember the bumper cars. I'll never forget. I loved the bumper cars at night. All of the lights. I was so scared of an elevator when I was a T-bopper. Anyway, one of my uncles, he says, I'll pay you R1 if you ride in the elevator with me. By Jove, he got me to ride that elevator. Eventually, once I got older, he says we were so bloody tired of climbing those stairs, we never booked another apartment high because I would never go in the elevator. Someone had to walk with me on the stairs every single time. And they would just, eventually they would say, listen, yeah, man, we just can't walk these stairs anymore. So he offered me a rand, and I got my rand. I spent my rand. Thank you very much. I was a very proud little boy. Yes, they were absolutely phenomenal times. I wonder if we could get photos from those times and do a Reminisce South Africa live stream. It's actually a very good idea, is get all of those old Durbs Beach and just pull them all together and showcase what Durban beachfront used to be. I remember it, hey, I remember it. Well, I remember driving down in the train with the blue cushioned seats. Stunning, man, stunning. My greatest pastime when visiting the Durban beaches back was lying on the beach sand and watching the stunning young boeremeisies going past there in their bikinis. Ooh, getting a little steamy here in the side chat there, hey? I'm sure I saw you sitting under the umbrella, Ross. Killarney Hotel. Oh, the good old times are starting to come out here in the side chat and love and laugh. And young Macy's on the beach back then. So I was brought up English, but I married into Paka Afrikaans. I mean Afrikaans, Boer, all the way down to cultural roots. Klaar. As in, die eerste maaltyd met die skoonouers was afval. Maar daar's niks soos 'n boermeisie nie. Ek is baie jammer. I love you English girls, but you English girls are more like my sister. All of you guys were lying on your bellies back then. Peter. And fellies in jeans, yeah. Ay. We have to have a blast from the past reminisce live stream. It would just for the fun of it. Elbows in the sand, look down towards the sea, yes. And going and getting ice creams. Oh, those Grenadilla ice creams with the pips in them. Stunning, man, the good old days, eh? Out on the piers, do you remember the piers? Artificial general intelligence already costing jobs. What is rollout of ASI, artificial superintelligence, going to do with jobs, especially for young people, not just in SA but globally? We're tracking it. We actually built a series. Just we haven't done so many recordings on it, but nonetheless, we're tracking exactly this. And if I'm not mistaken, the person that you need to be talking or you need to be listening to is Laurie. She's our criminal profiler, in-house, Love Enough. She's tied into a lot of AI of what's happening in the country. And then someone in our mix is actually tied into this at the top level of South Africa. We know of someone that's in there. But yeah, no. Anyway, yes, that is definitely something we need to look at. There is no doubt about it, that is very scary. Naughty people. Exactly. Stoute kabouters. Bad dassies. Durban Harbour at night on the roof of the Isle of Capri Harbour ferry with a doll. Giving that doll a lekker look at the sea, look at the beautiful moon on the water. Peter, naughty but nice. Yes, yellow stout klop. I was called naughty, but social media AI said no. Maybe I should share this. I was talking to AI the one day. Anyway, I was explaining to AI something that was happening to an elderly friend of mine, and they had ailments, and that they forgot a few things. Anyway, AI must have gotten confused because it came back with, Dwayne, unfortunately, you're starting to show symptoms of early onset dementia. What? And then when I explained to it who I was talking about, it got so confused. It got so confused. It was beyond confused. It's the worst I've had with AI so far. Early onset dementia. Now, do you think I live that down in my household? I do not get to live things like that down in my household. I just get to live them. My boys are at that stage. I love the Durban Club. You could sit still 10 years ago, get a great meal for a very low price. Oh, 10 years ago, you sure? That'd be 2016. It's possible. Cheers, Myra. How's it, Lonnie? You know, Lonnie's gone covert here. She only comes in at the end. I don't know if you guys have noticed. She's all quiet through the whole stream. Ninja. And then suddenly she pops out where no one else realizes it. Well, Lonnie, your name is in a song that we're playing later on as we close off now. We've got a treat. We have a decent treat this evening, brought to you by our own in-house Jag. He made a song about everyone that gets involved in the side chat, and I love it. And then tomorrow night, we're heading straight back onto Klunkstall because Peter contacted me again today. He's got even another song. It's just the guys have got the music going, man. Where's that Durban beach when you bloody need it? One thing, D, stop tender processes and take responsibility to do all the work in municipal level. That is how it was done back then. And then there were, and yes and no. The world's changed. Technology's available. But I hear you. This tender process is just a easy gap for easy money. And this developing as that's going. How much further am I from the bottom? Goeie grond. Oh no, I'm not so far. I'm close. Hang on, I saw something about Zuma here. Michael did say something. Klunkstall. There we go. Where is Zuma? In a bloody temple in India. Oh, you're too funny, Dwayne. It's true. It's not a little true, it's true. Blockchain for municipalities. I agree with you, Dwayne. The death penalty is the sort of penalty that would, out of the fear of God, would put the fear of God in these criminals. They would think twice before doing foolishness. Well, think about it. You know, think of the countries where security works correctly. You want to do one thing? Well, we're going to chop it off. You want to do another thing? Then we're going to chop this off. You want to do a different thing? Then we chop that off. You really want to go into, then other things get chopped off. Or it works. It works. Early 80s, make Cosnos further down towards beach, same side as Lonsdale, the best Greek restaurant, $4.99 per person for the entire buffet. Ugh, you guys are making me hungry. I had French toast for dinner. Because it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, we had a massive lunch. So the Durban Club is near the statue of the Durban was under attack by the Zulus. That is interesting. I didn't know that, Scott. The day that the death penalty comes back, make me think of the Lion King when that Scar was buddies with the hyenas. That crumbled. So yeah, that would work exactly. It would work flippin' well. That's when the rand still had some value. Just imagine. Oh my word. Prawn across the road from Main Course to Darfur. You're interesting. Yeah, no, how's it, Greg? It's good to have you, man. Welcome. Collapse comes once crisis fatigue goes into override and people literally lose their minds. Yeah, there is an element of that. We have touched on it, but long ago. But I will do another live stream on that because remember, I think it was last night I explained it. What happens is you start dealing with these South Africans just as a public-facing company. However, you start dealing with these South Africans and they have all of this pent-up stress and energy and they don't know how to get rid of it. And they just explode. They just totally lose their minds. Everything is out of the ballpark. They totally lose their minds. And that's happening already. A lot of guys are under some serious pressure that don't get to work for 10 years, don't get to, it destroys a home. That cough sounded like the Fiat 460. Peter. I thought you said, ek klink soos 'n boer nou. Ek klink soos 'n boer nou. Dwayne, you won't believe it. My first meal with my to-be in-laws was also awful. I pretended to feel unwell. Mrs. Loving Life saved me from eating offal that day. She kind of gave me, just these beautiful eyes, and she said, you don't have to eat it, don't worry. And I was brought up in quite a decent home. You eat what you've been served, or catch the flat hand. You will show respect. I ate 2 or 3 pieces and I said, thank you very much. And I just kind of shifted. I said, no, thank you. Being a boer household, the steak was on my plate in 5 minutes. I felt so bad walking out of there. I didn't know what to say. I'd never eaten it before in my life. And I couldn't stomach it. But I also think they knew exactly what they were doing as well. But yeah, that day I had a huge steak and it was lekker. There was nothing wrong with it. It was perfect. It was a lovely meal together as a family. Randorama restaurant near intersection at West Street became less hotel and more business. A lot of them. Pig and Whistle, remember? We rock back there. Whoop, whoop. It's a great song, Clive. The other family will let the AI thing haunt you in the grave. The other family will let yeah. Oh, yes. I hear you loud and clear, Debs. I hear you loud and clear. It's so nice. I'm so happy you're here. You have no idea. Springs and Welkom is collapsing. How's it, Peter? Thanks, Scott. I think we can play out. Are we at the end? We're at the end. Shacks are surrounding Boksburg. Shacks are surrounding Pretoria West, Peter. If we bring in capital punishment, the country becomes a death camp. Yeah, yes. They can't bring it in at this stage. Imagine the international outcry. So many people would be dying. Why would you hang me here? Oh, my arms. Because I got a lakaliki in. Here we go. We'll play out tomorrow night with Klankstall. Guys, this has been made by Jag for you guys. For you guys. I'm so impressed with his work. Here we go. Let's play it out. Thanks for joining Love in Life this evening. It's great to have everybody on board, and don't miss tomorrow night. Don't miss tomorrow night.
The strings play softly as we gather here today, with voices intertwined, searching for the way. In a land of beauty where the rivers flow, we stand together, hand in hand, we know. Scott and Dwayne, our hearts unite. Marlena and Nat, shining so bright. Jaguar and Lori, never afraid. Nick, Helen and Marie, yes, the truth won't fade. We're loving life in every tune we play, singing for the justice, come what may. Together we rise, no fear in our eyes. In South Africa's song, we find our skies. Lubic's song, we find our skies. Oh. With Mel and Mark, we write our story. Lonnie and Alta, embracing the glory. Arabella and Michael, with courage we find. Deborah and Grace, speaking minds unconfined. Cinco and Greg, every note a decree. Ferdosh and Dylan, setting our spirits free. We're loving life in every tune we play, singing for the justice, come what may. Together we rise, no fear in our eyes. In South Africa's song, we find our skies. Loving good song, we find our skies. Oh, as the guitar strums, our hearts align. In the shadows of truth, our voices intertwine. Through the struggle we'll dance, feel the light. In every heartbeat, we claim our right. We're loving life, so let the truth ring, let it be heard. In harmony we stand with every word. With hope in our hearts, we'll share this song. In loving life, we all belong. Let the truth ring, let it be heard. In harmony we stand with every word. With hope in our hearts, we'll share this song. In loving life, we all belong.
Hey, 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 hey. Hello, South Africa, and citizens of the world. This is Love and Life.